Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining our Study at ACU webinar series. Tonight's session is all about student information for regional and remote students. Tonight, we're joined by some of our ACU students to share their experiences from their studies, having come from a regional or a remote area and are now studying at the university. Before we jump into that discussion, I will run through a few important pieces of information about ACU. Throughout the session, if you do have any questions that you would like to put to our panelists, please add them to the Q&A section, and we will try and get to as many of them as we can. As much as possible, try and relate your questions to the panelists' experience. If you do have very specific questions, we encourage you to contact our Ask ACU team via the website. So as far as university is concerned, wherever you're looking at going to university, there is a number of different questions that you will be asking yourself. And in particular, what ACU can offer you. Why might you choose ACU? And we'll look at some of these points, whether that's, do you need accommodation? Would you like access to scholarships? Will you need government support for your studies? What sort of support is available from the university itself? ACU does try and offer courses and support for those courses that are designed to give you hands-on experience and all the different skills that you would need for your desired career. We do have a number of different degrees and disciplines on offer across our campuses. We do have 7 different campuses across 4 states and territories, as well as our opportunity to go and study over in Rome. So where these courses are offered can vary from campus to campus. So depending on what you're interested in, just have a look at which location, which campuses have your desired course on offer. You can find all of that information on our ACU courses website. One of the things ACU does, as I've already touched on, is try and develop all the different skills that you might need so that when you walk into your job, your first place of employment, you are completely prepared. So we have very qualified graduates who tend to get jobs virtually straight out of your degree. And employers regularly comment on how skilled ACU graduates are, as well as how personable they are. So you get plenty of hands-on experience working with real people so that wherever you go for your career, you are very, very well prepared. We acknowledge that students will come from a range of different backgrounds. So ACU has a number of different pathways that recognise your personal circumstance, and we try and facilitate all different students to come and study at ACU. There are many of them listed here. I will go through a few of them in very light detail. If one of these programs does apply to you, I do encourage you to go to the ACU website and look in great detail at your best pathway for coming to the university. For current school leavers, so if you are in year 12 this year, you can apply through our ACU guarantee. So this is our early application system. This is designed to take your year 11 results produce a selection rank for you, and hopefully give you an offer well and truly before you do your final exams or your final assessments for Year 12. The whole application is done online. It's available for free. We do ask if you would like to answer some optional statements about yourself. You can, so that we can potentially give you some adjustment factors, but that's not a requirement. Essentially, the main parts are you tell us who you are and where you went to school, so we can have a look at your Year 11 results and hopefully make you an early offer. So our applications for ACU Guarantee for this year will open as of the 22nd of July. They close as of the 16th of September, but we do have a number of offer rounds available throughout this process. We do have a number of adjustment factors that students may be eligible for. Some of them happen automatically as you do your ACU Guarantee application or as you do your UAC application. Some of them you will need to apply for, particularly if you would like any equity considerations through the Educational Access Scheme, or if you are an elite athlete or performer who would be eligible for points. So please, again, look at your circumstances, look at your eligibility, and make sure that you apply for the equity or elite adjustments if you are eligible. Diplomas can also be a really good stepping stone. So if you don't quite have the selection rank to get into your desired degree, we offer a number of different diplomas that are associated with our bachelor's programs. The idea being that if you successfully complete one of our diplomas, you should be able to walk straight into the second year of the related bachelor's degree. Some of the diplomas, again, very much like our bachelor's programs, are offered at most of our campuses. Some are very specific. So if one of these programs appeals to you, make sure that you're familiar with which locations have these programs on offer. We also have foundation studies available. So this is designed for prospective students who don't have an ATAR. So this could be coming straight out of school, or maybe you've been out of school for a couple of years. This program, again, is designed to give you all of the skills that you might need to then start in your desired bachelor's program. This is offered in person on our Melbourne or our Blacktown campuses, or you can complete the studies online. We have some great entry pathways available for our Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander students as well. So this is assessed on your qualifications as well as an interview. Along with your offer, your university offer, we then try to provide all of the different supports that you could possibly need going to university. So this includes tutorial assistance, cultural activities, opportunities to network, as well as supporting you with scholarships. So if you are of Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander descent, please have a look at what our entry programs and our support programs are available for you. ACU also provides entry programs and support for veterans. So this is designed around veterans and their families, so it can include partners and spouses, or if you are a child of a veteran or a serving member of the Defence Force, you can apply through this pathway. Again, it's based on qualifications, your motivation, and an interview. And again, we offer some very specific support services to students who come in via this pathway. I'm going to hand over now to my colleague, Ross, who is going to talk a bit about our Uni Step-up program.
Great, thanks, Francis. Hello, guys. My name is Rosalind. I'm based on the Melbourne campus, and I'm part of the equity and inclusion team there. Part of my role is supporting the Uni Step-up program, and this is a program that is available to all students who live in a regional, remote, or rural part of Australia and would be interested in getting a taste of what university is like before they finish high school. So Uni Step Up Online is an opportunity for students based in Year 11 who would like to potentially explore coming to ACU or higher education. But the handy thing is you get to have a taste of what this is like before you actually complete Year 12. We currently have 3 streams that you can pathway into, and these include nursing, midwifery, and paramedicine, business, and sport and exercise science. And what this would involve is you would become an enrolled ACU student and you would undertake 2 units in these pathways during your Year 11 year of study. So we can see by this fun little graph down here is that you would do these classes online for roughly 2 to 3 hours each week over a 10 to 12 week period. And this squeezes in during your school year. So classes normally start around March, go for about 10 to 12 weeks, with the second unit then starting about mid-August and another 10 to 12 weeks. This is a great opportunity for you to get a feeling of what you might like to do later on, and you get to have a first-hand experience of what university is like. I'll go to the next slide. Thanks, Francis. So what we're asking you to do as a step-up student is we're asking you to get involved into a university subject in your Year 11 year. And while Year 11 is busy enough, this is a great opportunity because it has several benefits. The first is that by completing 2 university subjects, you are able to receive an unconditional guaranteed offer into an aligned ACU course. And what that means is if you chose to complete the nursing, midwifery, and paramedicine stream, you would be able to get, when passing both of those, you'd be able to receive an unconditional offer into a Bachelor of Nursing or a Bachelor of Midwifery or a Bachelor of Paramedicine. You can choose of the 3. What this means is you get this offer before you do your Year 12 exams, and so you can go into your exams knowing that you have a spot guaranteed for you at an ACU campus of your choice, and then you get to do your exams knowing that regardless of how those go, you have a spot at a university course. If you are only able to complete 1 unit, you would still be eligible for an offer, but this might have some prerequisites. So we would call this a conditional offer. Now, this is also free of charge. I'm sure you've heard a little bit about HEX and HELP in the media recently. There's been a lot of talk about HEX, but this is a completely free program. The 2 units you'll undertake won't go towards your HEX debt at all. You also get to pick up several skills that I'm sure our panelists will later talk about, which is things like referencing, using the library, and navigating assignments as a university student. So you get to have a taste of how to be a university student while still in Year 11. You can also get a little test of whether this is the right course for me. It is a lot to ask you to pick a career very young. So you'll get an idea of, do I like nursing? Do I like midwifery? Am I interested in law or business? Or is exercise science more for me? You'll also get to receive a credit for the 2 units you undertake, which means that if you wanted to, you're more than welcome to go to another university and take the 2 credits for the units you've studied with us and apply to a similar degree there to have those credits removed from your degree. We can also support you by moving to an ACU campus with a 20% remission in rental fees in your accommodation on the Canberra, Sydney, and Ballarat residences. If you have any questions about the Uni Step-up program, I'll be available later.
Great, thank you, Rosalind. Which is a perfect segue. So as we said at the top, there are other considerations alongside of your studies and how you might apply. So we do have a number of different accommodation options available. Some are managed by ACU, others may be close by to our campuses, but managed by an external company. So If you are looking at our Ballarat campus, you have a choice of our Camillus residents or our managed residents. If you are interested in coming to Canberra, we have our Blackfriars residents that can house around about 40 or so students. In Sydney, our residence is located within Newtown, so it's close to a train station, and therefore you can get to any one of our 3 Sydney campuses. If you're looking at Melbourne, there's a couple of options in terms of Uni Lodge. So these are externally managed by the Uni Lodge company, but are very close to ACU as well as other universities. So you'll get to know other students who are also studying at universities in Melbourne. Similarly, Igloo also run some residents within Melbourne. And then if you're looking at Brisbane, you have Uni Lodge options as well as Durack College if you're a female identifying student. So there are options for accommodation in every single one of the cities and towns that has an ACU campus. ACU do have a number of accommodation scholarships available, so sometimes those will be a sum of money towards your accommodation. Otherwise, it would be a reduction on your, a discount on your fees. Again, it's worth looking at the different types of scholarships, your own personal circumstances, and seeing which ones are right for you. And I would recommend looking at our scholarships website and our accommodation website to see all of the different options that are available. Alongside of our accommodation scholarships, there are also a number of other scholarships and awards that are on offer. So again, going to the scholarships website, using the search tool and refining by your personal circumstances, and then having a look at the eligibility criteria so that you can apply for the awards that would be suitable for you. There are also several external sources of funding available through the Australian government. The best way to manage these is, again, to have a look at the Centrelink website or the relevant government website and see which award suits you. It's largely based on your age and your financial status. And again, remember that you can get these awards in a lot of cases where you're moving away from home and then therefore trying to support yourself. So where your parents aren't necessarily paying for your entire, they're not fully financially supporting you. If you do move away from home, we know that it's a big jump for a lot of students, particularly if you're one of those school leavers who's coming from a high school environment. So we try and provide as much support as we possibly can, whether that's mentoring, academic support, or just having access to student events on campus so that you can meet people and get to know the other students at your university. So we recommend when you arrive at university that you attend orientation week activities. That'll give you the best sense of what is on offer on your campus and who is there to support you. We're now going to step into our panel discussion. So we still have Rosalind with us to talk about equity pathways or the Uni Step-up program. Alongside her, we also have some of our current students from across the country. So we have Millie, who is a Bachelor of Speech Pathology student at our Brisbane campus, Maxwell, who is studying a double of education and arts through our Strathfield campus in Sydney, and Grace, who is doing a Bachelor of Nursing at ACU in Canberra. So for our panelists, if any of our participants, our attendees have any questions, please put them into the Q&A, and we will get through as many of them as we possibly can. But to start with, I might ask each of our students, why did you choose ACU? And we'll start with Maxwell.
Hi everyone. My name is Maxwell, and as Francis said, I'm studying in Sydney at the Strathfield campus. And one really important reason that I chose studying at ACU was because of the accommodation building that was on offer, the Miguel Cordero residence in Sydney. It was just a really easy and supportive way for me to transition from going into high school and moving into my university studies.
Great. Next, we'll go to Millie.
Hi everyone. So my name's Millie. I study speech pathology at the Brisbane campus. And one of the reasons that I chose ACU is that it is a smaller university, which means classes are smaller, and it allows you to have better interactions, I think, with peers, but also the teaching staff. And coming from obviously a rural background where the town itself is quite small, it was a really good environment to know that I'm not just going to be a number, that I'm actually going to have conversations and connections there.
Great. And what about Grace?
Hi everyone. I chose to study at ACU, coming from a regional area of Bateman's Bay. I'm a bit south of Bateman's Bay, but everyone knows Bateman's Bay. I decided to study at ACU because I did a bit of research, and it's known for having really good employment rates, and that's something I'm really looking for because I plan to specialize in midwifery after I finish my Bachelor of Nursing, and I was hoping to go into work really quickly. So that's my plan, and the small campus at Canberra was a good way to transition because coming from a regional area, just like Millie said, it's hard not knowing anyone in Canberra and then moving and being away from my family and then not really having anyone. And luckily on the campus, since I started this year, I just finished my first semester. I've actually made quite a few friends on campus, which has been really lovely. And so I'm actually quite happy with my choice.
Great. So our next question, what have you enjoyed the most about living away from home? And we might go same order. So Maxwell.
Something I've really enjoyed about living away from home is just being able to be like independent, because like you're always worrying about, like, your parents are always worrying about you, or like whoever's at home, and being able to step out of that and be my own independent self just gave me a bit more freedom, especially moving away from such a small town and going into a big city. It was just a really good step for me, just having my own chance to be my own person and have my own opportunities.
Great. What about you, Millie?
Yeah, I would say similar to Maxwell, just kind of the independence, pretty similar. You don't necessarily, you have people worrying about you, but it's a bit from afar. So I found I got to try things and learn and grow a lot as a person as well. Because I kind of was able to go and make mistakes and learn, okay, next time maybe I shouldn't do that, or I should approach it differently. And yeah, I think it's definitely a different form of growth, being able to do it, kind of learn from yourself rather than other people.
Excellent. And you, Grace?
What I like about having moved and not being at home anymore is now I'm so close to everything. I walk out of my apartment and all of a sudden there's cafes and public transport and bars, and like I can go to all these places and it's really quick and I don't need to drive, which is cost effective for me. But there's just so much stuff that I didn't have when I lived in a regional area, and it's a lot easier to access things like healthcare, and public transport actually has been a really big thing for me.
It's great to hear. So we'll do the flip side. So what has been the most challenging thing about either living away from home or even just generally the most challenging thing about going to university? And how have you found support or help with those challenges? Maxwell?
So yeah, moving away from like such a small regional town that's so far away from Sydney has definitely had its negative effects, especially being so far away from my family and the people that I obviously went to like high school with. So it's been very challenging having to open my social like connections, making new friends and trying to find people both in the accommodation and on campus and seeing like who's around and who I can make friends with. It definitely was something that was a big struggle at the start of moving away from home.
Yeah, was there anyone or anything that was particularly helpful, either something you found yourself or a support service that was useful on the campus?
Something that was very helpful for me was the support that was on campus, especially the campus ministry that was there. Um, in my own personal experience, they were just a big group of people that were always there to help you. They knew you specifically and by name and were able to help you with whatever issues you might have had.
Great. What about you, Millie? How have you found living in Brisbane?
Yeah, it can definitely be challenging. So where I'm from and where my parents live is 12 hours away by car from Brisbane. So it's not, a weekend home. So being so far away is really difficult. I am lucky I do have my sister in Brisbane, so some family, but it's not the same as having mum and dad kind of around. And I guess as well with that is kind of like Maxwell said, like going to a uni in a new place completely unknown is, trying to make friends, trying to figure everything out, knowing nothing. And so it's difficult, but I would also say it's very worth it. And then things that have kind of helped me with that is I really kind of threw myself into uncomfortable situations kind of at uni, approaching people, joining in on student life activities and events and the student association and things like that. And also just through my classes, yeah, really kind of taking that first step to make friends, which has been really good. And unintentionally, most of my friends aren't from Brisbane. So we've got something to relate to each other there as well.
Wonderful. And Grace, what challenges?
Just like Millie said, actually majority of the friends I made here aren't actually from Canberra, which was really odd, but we all kind of mixed together. The hardest thing I found was Canberra's just different from where I used to live. It's just very different. And I had to adjust to all these different like mindsets, I think. And homesickness for me is still a bit of a thing since I've only just moved here at the beginning of the year. So it's still pretty fresh to me. And one of the harder things was one, I don't have family, but now I don't have any pets. Like I've spent my whole life surrounded by every form of animal you could think of, and now I have none. It's really hard. It's such a just a really abrupt change, I think.
Yeah. Have you found any particular I mean, obviously you've met people from outside of Canberra, but any other support services or any events on campus that kind of manage to help with the challenges?
I attended almost all of the orientation events on Canberra campus, which I'm really glad I did because I just chuck myself into every possible opportunity I could find, and I think that helped because um, naturally a bit outgoing, so I just kind of was like talking to everyone I could possibly get to listen to me, and I think that's how I made so many connections, which now that I'm at the end of my semester, I'm able to rely on people or ask for assistance from people, whether they're in the uni or outside. And actually, one thing that did help me was academic skills. Academic skills and working at the library has really helped me out, just adjusting to the expectations of your academic skills within, like, when submitting assessments and things like that.
Great. That's actually a perfect segue to what I'll use as our wrap-up question, which is, what would you tell a current prospective student? I mean, most likely someone finishing year 12, but someone who's considering university and considering relocating for university, was the best piece of advice you could give them while they're trying to make that decision? And I'll go through the whole panel. We'll do the students first, and then I'll get Rosalind to give us a staff perspective as well. So, Maxwell, best piece of advice.
Something someone shared with me right at the start of orientation for this year was just don't be afraid to go to all the events and everything that's on offer. Like, all these events are designed to help make your transition into uni as easy and as stress-free as possible. There's things like having snacks available, or catch-ups with people, or making friends. There's so much that you could do that just helps you just to meet new people and to just not be so scared or worried about university.
Great. Millie?
Yeah, I think probably the biggest piece of advice I'd give to someone looking relocating would be that it's hard. It's really hard, and I'm halfway through my third year, and it's gotten easier, but it's still really difficult, but it is so worth it. And there are so many opportunities I've gotten just from being closer to things that I never would have imagined, that are changing my life and opening my eyes to so many things that I did never think was possible because everything was so far away. But yeah, I think get involved. Things will feel like the end of the world, and then 2 seconds later, you get a phone call from your parents and everything's better. And if you do trips home in breaks and things, you do value that time a lot more, which I really appreciate as well.
Brilliant. And Grace, any advice?
My advice would be trust your decisions and your feelings. So if you do want to move and you want to have a certain career that requires you to leave home and move to quite far away, and you do it, trust that you are going to get there. You're going to work through every hurdle that you face because you've made the decision and you want it. So, and your feelings are really valid. Any difficulty and any struggle you have is valid, but trust yourself. You will get there eventually.
Excellent. And Rosalind, any wisdom to impart from a staff perspective, having worked with, I guess, many different students in different circumstances?
Yeah, I think I'm going to give the classic ask lots of questions, guys. It's not too soon to ask questions. If you have a fear, anything we've said today has sparked interest in you, there's so many places you can get information. You don't have to wait till you're doing your exams or towards the end of year 12. If you're in year 10, then start asking questions. So I would jump on to websites, look up email addresses, and send them through. Trust me, someone is monitoring those inboxes. So you can ask those questions. And also keep in mind that when you do come to uni, there are so many resources available to support you in your journey. Like our panelists have said, uni's hard, but there's many positives to being on campus that are making friends, forming new connections, getting to get Uber Eats whenever you want. All of those things are now options when you're at university. So make sure you talk to people, guys, ask lots of questions. And yeah, so thanks for hearing from us tonight.
Great. So as we wrap up, perfect segue. If you do have any further questions after tonight's session, you can always reach out to our Ask ACU team. They're very friendly, they're very knowledgeable. Any questions that you have about anything to do with the university, you can approach Ask ACU either online or over the phone. We also have several upcoming events. So we have further webinars within our Talk With series. So that's an opportunity to speak to alumni who are now working in their field of expertise. They've finished their degrees and they're actually getting to use those skills that they've developed. We also have study at webinars about ACU Guarantee in particular. They will come up next term just as ACU Guarantee kicks off. You can certainly look at booking our one-on-one consult with us or a campus tour if you'd like to come and see your preferred campus in person before you enroll. We also have Discover events. So that's not only being able to see the campus and be there, but also coming to try some of the classes and the different skills that you might pick up in your preferred discipline. I'll also just get Rosalind, did you want to talk a little bit about your speech pathology webinar that's also coming up?
Yeah, thanks, Francis. So, Millie, you probably could talk about this more than I can, but if anyone is interested in a speech pathology as a career or would like to know more about what the degree offers, we are having a similar event to this one on the 19th of June. So I think that got posted in the chat. And so if you would like to know more about becoming a speech pathologist like Millie is, you can come along and hear more about what the degree looks like. I don't know, Millie, I'm putting you on the spot here. Are you planning on going back to your regional area once you finish?
I am unsure, but it's definitely an option that I'm looking at for sure.
Yeah, there is a growing demand for speech pathology in regional areas. So it's definitely something that you can walk out of pretty much guaranteed you can get a job in particular. So details have been posted again, guys. So please come along and we'll be happy to see you virtually there.
Great. So in addition to all of those online and other on-campus opportunities, we as well have our open days. So they are our big days to sort of come and see the campus, speak to academics, speak to students, and really get a sense of what is on offer at each of our different campuses. You can see there the dates range from late July through to mid-September, depending on which location you're looking at. You can register your interest now for updates about Open Day by going to that website or by searching for ACU Open Day online. We would absolutely love your feedback on this webinar. So there is a link in the chat, or you can scan this QR code to complete a very quick survey about this session. I will thank our panelists. So Rosalind, Maxwell, Millie and Grace for your time and your expertise this evening. It's been great to hear a little bit about your experiences, about how you found university and what the university has been able to offer you as students from a regional or remote area. Thank you to everyone who has attended this session, and we look forward to seeing you on campus in the near future.